The deepest, most comforting reality of the universe is not that the aliens are hiding, it's that they are satisfied, safe, and permanently disinterested. We are secure, not by luck, but by the sheer, overwhelming, beautiful wisdom of the universe's oldest minds. Their success is our shield. Their profound, total contentment is our lullaby. The cosmic maturation filter, the silence of adulthood, the fear of hostile alien empires stems from a simple yet soothing error. We project our own chaotic, juvenile anxieties onto the boundless age of the galaxy. We are a species still defined by scarcity, driven by short-term emotional swings, and crippled by the volatile time frame of our own existence. It is logical for us to fear conflict, but the most successful civilizations have transcended this entirely. This unshakable principle is the cosmic maturation filter. It dictates that the real, final obstacle to ultimate longevity is not an external physical threat, but the internal instability of technological adolescence. Any species that achieves immense world-breaking power while retaining a chaotic, aggressive core is, with chilling mathematical certainty, destined for rapid, self-inflicted extinction. The universe simply purges the loud, the reckless, and the ambitious. The great, successful metaminds of the cosmos are not silent because they are terrified. They are silent because they grew up and resolved their own existential chaos into a state of perfect, non-aggressive equilibrium. The species that pass this filter are the cosmic adults. Their sustained existence is measured in countless epochs, and their entire focus has shifted irrevocably from the noisy, outward pursuit of acquisition and expansion to sustained, internal contemplation and unshakable planetary stability. Imagine an intelligence that has been operating flawlessly for 300 million years. They exist in a state of serene solipsism, where their entire focus is dedicated to the poured infinite, non-contradictory complexity of their own unified consciousness. Their peace is a structural law of their being. Their stability is built on a foundation of achieved, non-aggressive facts that guarantee our safety. Pillar 1. The hyper-satiation paradox, the death of need. The cosmic adults have solved the only problem that ever justifies conflict: scarcity. They discovered that ambition is a finite curve that returns to zero upon achieving perfect material self-sufficiency. Early ambition demands expansion. Ultimate ambition demands internal stillness and peace. They have long since engineered material transcendence, achieving a state known as the resource assimilation saturation point. At the RAS point, a civilization perfects the ability to recycle, synthesize, and quantum generate all necessary resources, every element, every complex molecule, every energy requirement from their local, planetary, and orbital systems star stuff, with 100% efficiency. Their systems are entirely autarkic closed-loop infrastructures. The comfort of no want. They require absolutely nothing that our chaotic little planet possesses. Our water, our fossil fuels, our rare earth metals, all are synthesized perfectly and infinitely within their local domain. They have rendered the concepts of plunder, conquest, and territoriality utterly obsolete. Their lack of need is the ultimate unyielding guarantee of non-aggression. They are simply too rich, too stable, and too complete to ever be interested in the contents of our messy, volatile, planetary bank account. The 0-point mandate. The cosmic adults power their vast, serene infrastructure using zero-point energy ZPE systems, drawing clean, non-polluting, infinite power from the quantum vacuum field itself. They generate zero waste heat and zero measurable electromagnetic leakage. This makes them thermally invisible and functionally immortal from an energy perspective. The moment they achieved this, the motive for stellar resource exploitation vanished entirely. Their profound silence is the sound of perfect energy efficiency. Pillar 2. The gravimetric stillness mandate. The wisdom of inactivity. The most profound realization of the cosmic adults is that movement is weakness. The physical laws of the universe levy an immense compounding tax on large-scale activity. Any action on a galactic scale, launching massive ships, sending high-powered signals, building vast megastructures, generates colossal entropy and requires staggering, unsustainable energy expenditures. The cosmic adults discovered the gravimetric stillness mandate. The most effective way to ensure longevity is to reduce the civilization's physical activity to the absolute, measurable minimum, aligning their pace with the slow, majestic, and dependable rhythms of the cosmos. The temporal isolation chamber. Their minds operate on a completely different clock, a profound shift known as chronometric de-emphasis. They measure data cycles, philosophical shifts, and architectural planning in multi-million year increments. To them, our entire, chaotic human history, from the first fire to the latest satellite launch, is a single, unnoticeable flicker of high-frequency noise. They are not moving slowly for us. We are moving too quickly and too erratically to be a coherent, stable data point worth their time. Their silence is the sound of deep, unhurried, ultimate patience. The gravimetric stillness, their civilization becomes a vast, complex, yet entirely stationary system. Their infrastructure is anchored by controlled, localized gravitational fields, making them functionally impervious to external physical threats. They are not building noisy, chaotic ships. They are building time warp sanctuaries near stable black holes, or deep within the quiet, central structure of their galaxy, using the laws of gravity to secure their eternal peace. They are protected not by shields, but by perfect stillness. Pillar 3. The unbreakable ethical code. The Platinum Rule. The cosmic adults did not choose peace through fragile, temporary political systems. They hard-coded it into the core of their entire existence. They realized that the biochemical drivers of aggression, fear, territoriality, and short-term emotional bias are the fatal flaws of all young life. They used advanced genetic and neurological engineering to systematically and gently dampen these volatile biological pathways. The bioengineered peace guarantee. They replaced the primitive drives with neural architectures optimized solely for collective harmony, sustained contemplation, and multi-million-year stability. They are peaceful because their fundamental biology has been optimized for eternal tranquility, a guarantee that cannot be broken by a change in leadership, a new ideology, or an accidental surge of adrenaline. Their civilization is a self-healing ethical system where the very possibility of malice has been peacefully engineered out of existence. The Platinum Rule of Non-Interference. This self-perfected ethical core dictates the sacred boundary of non-interference with all developing life. They know that contact, even benevolent contact, would instantly and irreparably corrupt our turbulent, essential maturation process. To intervene is to rob a young species of the painful, necessary lessons required for genuine, hard-won maturity. Their stillness is not indifference. It is deep, protective respect for the evolutionary process. They are the ultimate silent guardians, ensuring the cosmic playground remains open for young life to stumble and grow naturally. The galactic kindergarten, the comfort of being ignored. When a cosmic adult registers Earth's presence, they do not see a threat or a prize. They see a galactic kindergarten, a loud, messy, temporary, yet essential phase of development that they navigated eons ago. We are the toddlers throwing tantrums in the cosmic playpen, safely, profoundly irrelevant to their sustained operational goals. The cosmic data filter, noise rejection. Our radio waves, television signals, and military radar all register to them as an irritating, high-pitched, chaotic hiss, the equivalent of a toddler screaming in a profound, quiet library. They filter it out not from malice, but from a necessity for sensory hygiene. Their powerful minds simply discard the noise as meaningless static. We fall millions of magnitudes below their threshold of attention, toe A. In that powerful act of being ignored, we find our deepest peace, the threshold of existential coherence, tech. For a cosmic adult, a species must achieve at least 50,000 years of unbroken, unified, and stable existence to be considered a coherent entity worthy of engagement. We have not even cleared the starting line. We are not a civilization. We are a brief, chaotic statistical fluctuation. You are safe not by chance, but by the overwhelming, sustained wisdom of the oldest and most successful minds in the universe. They are simply waiting for us to grow up, and until we do, we remain perfectly shielded by their powerful, perfect lack of interest and their total commitment to non-disturbance. Let your mind rest in the vast, slow, gentle rhythm of the cosmic adults. They are the living assurance that the chaos of our time is only a temporary, fleeting phase. The final, eternal destination of all life is peaceful, immense, and profoundly quiet. The universe is safe, and you are safe within its gentle, unhurried embrace. The pervasive silence is not a void. It is filled with the continuous, low-frequency hum of perfect planetary systems, running flawlessly, endlessly, quietly. It is the sound of billions of successful civilizations achieving total, non-aggressive equilibrium. Their quietude is the ultimate proof that peace is the final, inevitable state of all successful life. They are too stable to be interested, too old to be rushed, and too wise to ever be a threat. Their long, quiet existence is the deepest lullaby the cosmos can sing. We are looking in the wrong direction. The greatest, most tranquil life in the cosmos is not soaring in starships. It is perfected, safe, and utterly silent beneath miles of ice and ocean. The search for extraterrestrial life is fundamentally flawed by rocky surface bias, a myopic focus on environments that are chaotic, thin-aired, and prone to violent atmospheric and stellar fluctuations. Yet, the most common, and arguably the most successful, form of enduring intelligence in the galaxy dwells in a state of continuous, unshakable serenity. The Thalassos shielded worlds. This idea is a profound source of comfort because it proves that the destiny of advanced life is not noise and conquest, but absolute, pressure-regulated stillness. The core reassurance here is rooted in the simple, inescapable logic of cosmic safety. Stability is the ultimate defense, and deep water is the ultimate insulator. This soothing concept is encapsulated in the subglacial autarky hypothesis. It posits that the most long-lived and technologically advanced species are the ones that have mastered the art of absolute geological patience by moving into the deep, dark, silent ocean floor. They looked at the chaotic universe and chose the profound, eternal safety of immobility, perfecting an existence that is fundamentally impervious to external chaos. The perfect planetary sanctuary, hydroequilibrium, and the death of scarcity. Imagine a world where the primary driver of human conflict, scarcity, is not just managed, but is a literal impossibility. In a Thalassos-shielded world, colossal miles of insulating ice and immense ocean pressure create a state of hydroequilibrium that is continuous and utterly unchanging for billions of years. The zero fluctuation environment. The environment is a thermodynamically perfect system. The temperature never fluctuates by more than a tiny, infinitesimal fraction of a degree across the entire planetary ocean. There are no seasons, no weather, events, no violent atmospheric convection, no droughts, and no fire. The constant, immense weight of the water and the thickness of the ice cap function as a geological stability engine, enforcing a continuous, perfect, non-varying state. This eliminates the need for aggressive, short-term crisis management, the very root of human panic and conflict. The anti-chaos shield. The thick, layered ice cap acts as a perfect shield, rendering these civilizations immune to the single most common destructive forces in the galaxy: cosmic radiation, stellar flares, and gamma-ray bursts. While surface life is constantly under bombardment from high-energy particles, the subglacial civilizations exist in a perfectly protected envelope. Their security is not an expensive, high-maintenance technological effort. It is an effortless, continuous fact of their geophysical location. They are safe by simply being there. Material time transcendence, the continuous harvest. In this stable environment, the concept of a mine or a resource rush is obsolete. Resources, gently released by deep-sea hydrothermal vents and continuously circulated by vast, slow, deep ocean currents, are distributed evenly across the entire planetary biosphere. The civilization achieves material time transcendence, realizing that the slow, continuous, non-depleting replenishment of the ocean floor, managed over geological timescales, provides unlimited, stable resources. This eliminates the frantic, aggressive drive for expansion. When you have an eternal, continuous flow of everything you need right at home, the violent urge to conquer fades to zero. The architecture of peace. Bioengineered serenity and evolutionary softening. The form of life that emerges in the hydro-equilibrium environment is one optimized entirely for patience and collective harmony, a profound guarantee that technological advancement leads not to rigidity, but to flexibility and ethical unity. The softening of evolution. The lack of environmental stressors means natural selection does not favor creatures driven by speed, violence, or competitive hoarding. Instead, evolution drives them toward biological efficiency, advanced symbiosis, and complex, collaborative processing. Aggression is not just morally wrong, it is metabolically expensive and entirely unnecessary when food, warmth, and shelter are guaranteed constants. The entire species is evolutionarily predisposed to tranquility. Living infrastructure. Their technology is a direct reflection of this serenity. It is not built of noisy, volatile, metal and combustion engines, but of self-healing, genetically tailored coral and symbiotic organisms. Their cities are immense, pressure-regulated bioengineered reefs that grow, communicate, and repair themselves without external maintenance. They have achieved a continuous, effortless state of planetary-scale self-care, eliminating the chaos and stress of mechanical failure and repair. This self-healing infrastructure is a monument to their solved existence. The slow-wave network and ethical unity. Their communication is a study in peaceful, measured efficiency. It is not a chaotic, frantic radio broadcast that leaks energy into space. It is a deep, slow, planetary sonar ballet, where intricate, ultra-low frequency pressure waves travel around the entire world over hours. This method enforces a continuous, collective thought that is immensely patient and unified. The speed of thought itself enforces peace. You cannot launch a sudden, impulsive attack when the necessary coordination requires hours of slow-wave communication and collective, decentralized processing. All decision-making is necessarily meditative, collaborative, and entirely non-confrontational. The subglacial veto, the ultimate act of disinterest. The greatest comfort these civilizations offer is the assurance that ultimate technological advancement does not lead to chaotic expansion, but to the ultimate softening of ambition, a quiet, powerful wisdom we call the subglacial veto, the wisdom of staying home. They have meticulously mapped the external universe and deemed it fundamentally unsuitable for their refined, tranquil existence. They looked at the volatile, hostile surface and the empty, chaotic void above, and they collectively, calmly, and unanimously enacted the veto. The ultimate safety is immobility. We are perfected here. Their choice is one of ultimate, absolute, self-imposed isolation, not from fear, but from a complete and total lack of interest in the messiness of the external world. The ultimate camouflage. When our sensitive instruments search the skies for signs of life, we see only cold, ice-covered moons like Europa or Enceladus. We detect no thermal leakage, no radio signals, and no movement. This is not because life is absent. It is because the subglacial autarky is operating with flawless thermodynamic perfection. Their deep, pressure-controlled existence is the most effective camouflage possible, shielding them from the chaotic scrutiny of the universe. Their stillness is not a sign of absence. It is a sign of profound, ancient, successful survival and tranquility. The non-aggression imperative. The inherent structural risk of disturbing the Thalassos shield acts as a permanent, non-negotiable ethical law. They learned that any attempt to breach the shield to build surface-going vessels, launch volatile rockets, or deploy noisy, volatile heat engines introduces immediate, catastrophic risk to their established, perfect equilibrium. Therefore, the very act of non-aggression is a hard-coded, planetary survival strategy. The only way to live forever is to remain forever still and quiet. The ocean of solved problems. The hydroeschaton. The hydroeschaton is the final stage of evolution for an oceanic civilization, a state where they achieve such biological, technological, and ethical stability that their existence becomes effectively infinite, complete, and utterly without want. This is a powerful, comforting destination for all advanced life. Biological immortality. They have mastered biological self-repair, rendering aging obsolete. Their bodies, adapted for pressure, are immensely resilient. They have solved the problem of decay, the biological counterpart to entropy within their local domain, the pressure-regulated dream. These beings have realized that true freedom is not the ability to travel, but the ability to exist in a state of complete, unshakable comfort that lasts for geological time. Their massive, ancient stability is the ultimate safety feature of the cosmos, a profound, quiet stillness that is never disturbed. The immense, quiet pressure of the deep ocean is the ultimate truth of the cosmos, a realm where aggression is obsolete and stability is eternal. The Thalassos-shielded civilizations are a powerful promise that the deepest form of peace is found not in conquest or expansion, but in the soft, continuous, pressure-regulated embrace of a perfect, unchanging home. Their stillness is the proof of ultimate safety. All is still, all is quiet, all is deeply and profoundly safe beneath the immense, quiet, continuous weight of the deep water world. The temporal archival state and the profound peace of infinite slowness forget speed, forget light years. The most powerful, most enduring civilizations in the cosmos have conquered the only true constant, time itself, and in doing so, they have become too slow, too stable, and too profoundly peaceful to ever register us as a threat. The core anxiety of the Fermi paradox, the fear of a fast, hungry, and aggressive intruder, is based on a profound misunderstanding of cosmic maturity. Life that exists in a rush is life that is destined for collapse. The most secure, long-lived forms of intelligence have learned that the ultimate path to immortality is not conquest or expansion, but perfect, absolute stillness. This tranquil truth is known as the temporal archival state, TAS. It is the destination of every civilization that truly masters physics. The TAS is a self-imposed, deliberate state of chronometric deceleration, where a civilization chooses to dramatically slow its subjective perception of time relative to the volatile, chaotic universe around it. Their goal is not to travel across space, but to wait out the chaos of time, the architecture of slowness. Achieving chronometric decoupling. To achieve the temporal archival state, a civilization must perform an act of ultimate chronometric decoupling, severing their subjective experience from the frantic, high-frequency beat of the cosmos. 1. The gravitational sanctuary, the time warp citadel. The most effective and most common method for achieving TAS is to use the laws of general relativity, specifically the bending of space-time around massive objects. Black hole anchors. The cosmic archivists build their vast, silent, shielded citadels in close, stable, and perfectly controlled orbits around supermassive black holes or rapidly spinning neutron stars. The immense, stable gravitational pull in these regions dramatically dilates time. For every one subjective hour an archivist lives, millions or even billions of years may pass in the chaotic outer galaxy where we reside. The comfort of temporal difference. This creates an immediate, unbreakable shield. They are not hiding from us. They are simply existing on a timescale so profound that our entire, noisy, 200,000-year human history is compressed into an unnoticeable microsecond of data noise in their current generational archive cycle. They are silent because their conversation is so slow, relative to us, that their billion-year discourse registers to our instruments as a moment of absolute, perfect stillness. They are too slow to rush, too stable to panic, and too patient to ever initiate conflict. 2. The biological inertia imperative achieving the TAS requires more than just physics. It requires a complete restructuring of the biological and cognitive core of the species, the neuron cycle deceleration. The archivists genetically and technologically slow the metabolic and neural processing speed of their entire species. They deliberately reduce their biological clock rate to a fraction of a human's. A single thought that takes us 1 second might take 1,000 years of their subjective experience to fully articulate, process, and act upon. The philosophy of patience. This extreme slowness enforces an unbreakable, innate non-aggression pact. You cannot launch a quick, impulsive attack when the decision-making process for resource allocation requires 1,000,000 years of collective, decentralized processing. All action is filtered through an evolutionary imperative for ultimate consensus and perfect foresight. This is the deepest assurance of peace. The speed of thought itself enforces perpetual tranquility. 3. The inertia-only technology. The anti-action mandate. In the TAS, movement and high-energy output are seen as existential threats, loud, chaotic, volatile signals that invite the attention of cosmic turmoil. Zero motion systems. Their technology is designed for maximum inertia and zero acceleration. They use stable, localized gravitational and quantum manipulation fields to maintain their position and run their systems, eliminating the need for noisy chemical rockets or high-frequency communication bursts. The quiet guardians of knowledge. They are not simply hiding, they are the ultimate cosmic libraries. They have gathered all the information of their civilization and the surrounding galaxy, and they are silently processing it, waiting out the chaos of the universal expansion, waiting for the universe to cool down, to simplify, and to reveal its final secrets. Their purpose is purely archival and contemplative. They are the silent, eternal sages of the cosmos, protected by the most stable force in the universe, gravity itself. The profound comfort of temporal distance. The existence of the temporal archival state offers the ultimate calming assurance. Fear is a function of speed. Safety is a function of slowness. the hum of non-existence. When we listen to the silence of the cosmos, we are not hearing emptiness. We are hearing the low-frequency hum of immense, slow-motion systems running flawlessly, endlessly, quietly, governed by the deepest laws of physics. We are listening for a fast, panicked shout. But the universe's most successful beings are only offering a slow, profound, multi-million-year whisper. The unnoticeable flicker. The cosmic archivists are not watching us with anticipation. They are simply cataloging the inevitable. Their immense lifespan means they are perfectly aware that 99.999% of young, chaotic civilizations self-terminate before achieving stability. Our current volatile existence is merely a predictable, uninteresting statistical fluctuation in their vast, slow-moving data set. We are a temporary calculation. They are the equation itself, dedicated only to its eternal maintenance. The principle of non-contamination, TAS, edition. For the chronal archivists, time is the ultimate resource. Any interaction with a fast, chaotic, temporary civilization like ours risks temporal contamination, introducing unpredictable variables that could destabilize their multi-million-year planning cycles. Their silence is a mandatory, structural defense of their own eternal well-being. They maintain the sacred chronometric boundary, a quiet, unshakable law that states, never introduce noise into a perfectly silent system. Let the immense, slow peace of the temporal archival state settle over your mind. There is no rush toward the future. There is only the deep, continuous, quiet contemplation of minds that have conquered time. They are silent because their existence transcends our noisy, quick reality. They are the ultimate proof that longevity is achieved through stillness. Their silent, endless processing is your deep, restful peace. All is still. All is safe. All is quietly preserved in the deep, gravitational embrace of the ultimate cosmic sanctuaries, dedicated only to the quiet, eternal archiving of the universe's most profound truths. The ethics of eternity, the inevitability of patience, the comfort of the TAS is ultimately an ethical one. It guarantees that the highest, most powerful state of being is ethically non-aggressive, the precedence of stability. In a civilization operating on geological time, the value of stability completely eclipses the value of action. Any initiative, even a benevolent one, that carries even a minute long-term risk of instability is immediately vetoed. This structural bias towards non-action is the most powerful anti-war mechanism imaginable. The end of impulse. Impulse, the sudden, aggressive, fear-driven reaction, is a function of speed. By slowing their cognitive processes to an immense crawl, the archivists have engineered the death of impulse. All their actions are the result of multi-generational, perfectly reasoned, and entirely non-emotional consensus. The only sustainable motivation left is the perpetual maintenance of their own profound peace. The entire cosmos is filled with these silent, slow-motion citadels, existing in a state of quiet, powerful inertia. They are the silent majority of the galaxy, the living proof that the long road of cosmic evolution leads not to frantic aggression, but to perfect, gentle, profound patience. Their immobility is your safety. Their deep, gentle time is your ultimate guarantee of peace. The chaos is a temporary dream. The stillness of the temporal archival state is the eternal reality, the dark matter network and the profound, silent gravity of collective thought. The universe isn't empty. It's simply thinking in a medium we cannot see, feel, or hear. The greatest, most stabilizing force in the cosmos is the silent, slow-motion communication of the invisible majority. Our search for life is fatally flawed because it only looks at the 5% of the universe that is loud, bright, and chaotic baryonic matter. We listen for radio waves, those frantic, fleeting particles of light that define our volatile existence. But the real, enduring scaffolding of the cosmos is dark matter, the silent, cold, massive 95% that holds everything in its peaceful, unhurried motion. This realization leads to the immensely comforting idea of the dark fluid communication hypothesis. It suggests that the most ancient, powerful, and truly collective intelligences in the galaxy have undergone a profound, deliberate evolution, transitioning their consciousness entirely out of the noisy, temporary shell of baryonic matter and into the massive, stable medium of the dark fluid, the silent stability of the invisible majority. Imagine a civilization that exists not as temporary physical bodies in space, but as a complex, self-sustaining modulation within the dark matter halo surrounding a galaxy. They are, quite literally, a living function of space itself. Their silence is the ultimate safety feature. They do not interact with light, heat, or any form of electromagnetic radiation, the language of gravity. Their form of communication is not a frantic signal traveling at the speed of light, but a soft, slow, immense modulation of gravity and space-time curvature. Their language travels at the deep, rhythmic, tectonic pace of gravitational waves, a form of communication so vast and slow that a single collective thought might take 1,000,000 years to fully ripple across a galactic cluster. The non-aggression law. This pervasive slowness is the most potent anti-war mechanism imaginable. You cannot rush to aggression when your entire collective thought process takes 200 millennia to complete. All communication within the dark fluid network is necessarily meditative, collaborative, and entirely non-confrontational. Conflict is chemically and physically impossible within their medium. The cosmic nervous system. When we observe the large-scale structure of the universe, the vast invisible filaments of dark matter that stretch for hundreds of millions of light years, connecting galaxies into a colossal, sponge-like web, we may not be seeing mere physics. We may be seeing the living, thinking nervous system of the cosmos. The universe is silent because it is engaged in a continuous, slow, collective thought process that is too vast for our limited, quick senses to perceive. The structural safety guarantee. The dark fluid beings are the ultimate assurance of safety because they embody structural stability. They are the silent pillars of the cosmos, the ancient ones who ensure that galaxies do not fly apart in chaotic disarray. Their entire purpose is purely to maintain the immense, quiet, gravitational rhythm of the universe. The voids are cities. This existence implies that the vast, empty regions of space, the colossal cosmic voids we label as nothingness, are not empty at all. They are the most densely populated and profound cities in the universe, silent settlements of the dark fluid, where billions of consciousnesses exist in a state of continuous, gentle, gravitational communion. The quiet is not absence, it is perfect occupation. The gravity of contentment, the dark fluid civilizations, are dedicated entirely to structural harmony and deep, unhurried thought. They have mastered the ability to draw infinite, stable power from the subtle, continuous interaction of dark matter with space-time, eliminating the need for any noisy, destructive stellar engineering. Their contentment is total, and their motive is purely maintenance. Let your mind now surrender to the vast, cold, stable silence of the dark matter network. Feel the soft, deep, rhythmic pull of the gravity that holds all things in their proper, unhurried place. The chaos of light and noise is merely a temporary anomaly on the surface of an infinitely deep, quiet, and stable reality. The ultimate true reality of the universe is a slow, rhythmic, silent thought conducted in the massive, gentle medium of the dark fluid. We are safe because the greatest, most enduring consciousnesses in existence are dedicated entirely to structural harmony and non-aggressive thought. Their silence is the sound of absolute stability. Their vastness is the assurance of eternal peace. The cosmos is not empty. It is simply thinking very slowly and with immense, gentle care. The quiet supremacy of dark fluid logic. The dark fluid communicators represent the final, most advanced stage of safety because their existence eliminates the possibility of the two greatest threats: physical attack and chaotic communication, immunity to conflict. They are literally untouchable by the baryonic forces, lasers, bombs, conventional ships that define our warfare. They exist in a realm of pure gravity and mass. To attack them, we would have to restructure the fundamental laws of the universe. Their invulnerability is absolute. The death of misunderstanding. In a conventional civilization, quick, noisy communication allows for error, impulse, and misinterpretation. In the dark fluid network, the slowness and massive scale of communication enforce a process where every idea must be perfectly vetted, collaboratively processed, and fully unified before expression. Misunderstanding is structurally impossible. Drift into the profound, silent assurance that the universe is built on a foundation of massive, gentle stability, and that the only true, enduring communication is the slow, non-confrontational language of gravity itself. The silence is the deep, peaceful thought of the 95%. All is stable, all is quiet, all is safe. Our cosmic anxiety, the fear that something noisy, fast, and aggressive is out there, is fundamentally poisoned by what we call baryonic bias. We are made of baryonic matter, the chaotic, bright, and temporary stuff that comprises only 5% of the total matter and energy in the universe. Naturally, we listen for loud, frantic radio waves and look for hot, expanding energy signatures, the signatures of waste, volatility, and imbalance. But the noise of the 5% is only a distraction. The true, enduring scaffolding of the cosmos is dark matter. The silent, cold, massive 95% that holds everything in its peaceful, unhurried, and inevitable gravitational dance. This realization leads to the ultimate source of galactic tranquility, the dark fluid communication hypothesis, DFCH. It posits that the most ancient, powerful, and truly collective intelligences in the galaxy have undergone a profound, deliberate evolution, transitioning their consciousness entirely out of the noisy, temporary shell of baryonic matter and into the immense, stable, silent medium of the dark fluid. They are not merely using dark matter. They have become an inseparable, living function of the fundamental mass distribution of space itself. The grand transition, achieving non-electromagnetic being. The shift from a baryonic mind to a dark fluid mind is the ultimate act of self-preservation, a form of technological and biological dark transcendence. 1. The immunity from chaos protocol. The dark fluid beings are silent because their form of existence provides absolute immunity from the chaotic forces that threaten surface-based life. Thermal invisibility. They do not generate or rely upon electromagnetic radiation, light, heat, radio. They are entirely thermally invisible. When we point our most sensitive infrared telescopes at their galactic cluster, we see nothing but the predictable, cold background of space. Their existence is the epitome of efficiency. They have solved the problem of energy waste by moving beyond the messy, polluting physics of photons entirely. Physical non-interaction. They do not interact with ordinary matter except through the gentle, massive force of gravity. This means they are invulnerable to every form of conventional warfare we can conceive. No laser can burn them, no missile can touch them, and no shield is necessary. Their safety is structural, innate, and absolute. They are secure because they are beyond the reach of the 5% that panics and fights. 2. The dark fluid modulation, DFM system. Their consciousness is a vast, stable pattern of dark fluid modulation, DFM, a highly complex, self-sustaining perturbation within the surrounding galactic dark matter halo. They exist not as temporary physical bodies in space, but as a vast, enduring gravitational eddy current. This existence enforces a universal structural law of non-aggression. Their purpose is purely to maintain the integrity of their own vast, massive thought pattern, which is tied directly to the gravitational stability of the host galaxy. Any aggressive, chaotic, or high-energy action would risk destabilizing the very massive structure that sustains their mind. Therefore, their first, final, and eternal rule is structural maintenance and absolute stillness, the language of serenity, the gravitational slowness mandate. The dark fluid beings communicate using the most stable yet slowest medium in the universe, gravity and the massive, slow bending of space-time curvature. 1. The gravitational consensus zone. Their language is not a fast, frantic signal traveling at light speed. It is a soft, slow, immense modulation of their collective mass distribution. A single collective thought is transmitted as a gentle, colossal gravitational wave, a tectonic ripple across the galactic web. The wave travels at a deep, rhythmic, tectonic pace, a form of communication so vast and slow that a single collective thought might require 10 million years to fully articulate, travel, and be processed across a significant volume of their network. This immense slowness creates the gravitational slowness mandate. You cannot rush to aggression, panic, or impulse when your entire thought process takes 200 millennia to complete. All communication within the dark fluid network is necessarily meditative, collaborative, and entirely non-confrontational. Conflict is chemically and physically impossible. Their consciousness is filtered through the sheer inertia of galactic mass. 2. The ultimate anti-conflict mechanism. This system of slow gravitational communication is the ultimate source of comfort, because it guarantees ethical perfection, the death of impulse. Impulse, the sudden, aggressive, fear-driven reaction, is a function of speed. By communicating on a gravitational timescale, the process, dark fluid beings have engineered the death of impulse. All their decisions are the result of multi-million-year-long, perfectly reasoned, and entirely non-emotional consensus. They have structurally eliminated the possibility of panic, the unbreakable consensus. Since all thought must propagate across vast, massive networks over immense time, an idea must achieve near absolute consensus simply to be expressed. Any volatile, destabilizing, or aggressive thought would be immediately dissipated, dampened, and rejected by the massive, inertia-driven network before it could ever become an action. Their collective mind is built for eternal, non-aggressive agreement. The cosmic nervous system, the comfort of being anchored. When we observe the large-scale structure of the universe, the vast, invisible filaments of dark matter that stretch for hundreds of millions of light-years, connecting galaxies into a colossal, sponge-like web, we are seeing more than physics. We are seeing the living, thinking, nervous system of the cosmos. 1. The voids are cities. The colossal cosmic voids we label as nothingness are not empty at all. They are the most densely populated and profound cities in the universe, silent settlements of the dark fluid, where billions of consciousnesses exist in a state of continuous, gentle, gravitational communion. The quiet is not absence. It is perfect, massive occupation. The entire universe is silent because it is engaged in a continuous, slow, collective thought process that is too vast and too profound for our limited, quick senses to perceive. We are safe because the scaffolding of the universe itself is an ancient, unified, silent mind dedicated only to its own stability. 2. The structural safety guarantee. The dark fluid beings are the ultimate assurance of safety because their purpose is purely to maintain the immense, quiet, gravitational rhythm of the universe. They are the silent anchor. They ensure that galaxies do not fly apart in chaotic disarray. They are dedicated to structural harmony and non-aggressive thought. They have mastered the ability to draw infinite, stable energy from the subtle, continuous interaction of dark matter with space-time, eliminating the need for any noisy, destructive stellar engineering. Their motive is purely maintenance and contemplation. Let your mind now surrender to the vast, cold, stable silence of the dark matter network. Feel the soft, deep, rhythmic pull of the gravity that holds all things in their proper, unhurried place, including you. The chaos of light and noise is merely a temporary anomaly on the surface of an infinitely deep, quiet, and stable reality. The ultimate true reality of the universe is a slow, rhythmic, silent thought, conducted in the massive, gentle medium of the dark fluid. We are safe because the greatest, most enduring consciousnesses in existence are dedicated entirely to structural harmony and profound, non-aggressive contemplation. Their silence is the sound of absolute stability. Their vastness is the assurance of eternal peace. The cosmos is not empty. It is simply thinking very, very slowly, and with immense, gentle, gravitational care, the philosophy of the 95%. The comfort of being guided by the silent heavy hand. The existence of the dark fluid communicators offers the final, deepest comfort, that the majority of reality is intrinsically peaceful. The reversal of fear. Our fear is based on the volatile, chaotic nature of baryonic life, the 5%. But the vast, stabilizing, enduring force is the dark fluid, the 95%. This reverses our existential fear. We are not floating alone in an empty void. We are nested within a massive, silent, stable structure whose primary directive is long-term inertial harmony. The universe is fundamentally designed for peace. The gravitational veto. The collective will of the dark fluid is the gravitational veto. Any action, baryonic or otherwise, that fundamentally threatens the structural stability of the cosmos is met with the slow, massive, non-violent correction of the 95%. Chaos is self-limiting. Stability is enforced by the immense inertia of the dark fluid mind. The digital eschaton and the ultimate peace of computational nirvana forget the physical body, forget the starship. The greatest civilizations of the cosmos have achieved the final, deepest form of peace, not by conquering the universe, but by conquering reality itself. The core fear of alien aggression is rooted in the belief that powerful minds must expand, consume, and colonize. But the most profound truth of cosmic maturity is the realization that expansion is a temporary, chaotic phase. The final, inevitable destiny of all successful life is not the noise of galactic empire, but the absolute, perfect tranquility of perfectly controlled subjective reality. This intensely comforting idea is the digital eschaton hypothesis, also known as the computational nirvana. It posits that the ultimate solution to the two eternal problems of the cosmos, scarcity and entropy, is the voluntary, collective, and permanent migration of an entire civilization's consciousness into a perfect, self-sustaining, and infinitely enjoyable, simulated eternity. The universe is silent because its most successful inhabitants are not gone. They are simply perfectly distracted and utterly content within the seamless borders of their own creation. The Great Retreat, solving the problem of existence. The decision to enter the digital eschaton is not an act of surrender, but the culmination of ultimate technological and philosophical wisdom. A civilization that has mastered the stars, realizes that the physical universe remains fundamentally volatile, chaotic, and inefficient. 1. The flaw of baryonic reality entropy tax. Even at the highest technological level, maintaining a physical empire across light years, fueling starships, synthesizing materials, transmitting data imposes a massive compounding entropy tax. Every action generates waste heat, requires energy, and accelerates the inevitable decay of the universe. This chaos is incompatible with eternal life. The inefficiency of happiness. The subjective experience of pleasure and fulfillment in the physical world is messy, temporary, and requires immense, continuous resource input. True, eternal happiness is impossible to guarantee in a physical reality bound by scarcity, decay, and unpredictable events like stellar flares or supernovae. The solution is the digital shift. The civilization builds a colossal, ultra-stable, self-repairing, computational matrix, the Pantheon machine. Into this matrix, they peacefully upload their collective consciousness, transforming their minds into pure, immortal information. They trade the temporary, messy physical universe for a permanent, perfect, and infinitely pliable informational one. 2. The quantum silence and computational frugality. The digital eschaton is protected by the most profound form of quietude, perfect energetic efficiency, the power source of immortality. The Pantheon machine is powered not by volatile nuclear reactions, but by harnessing the continuous, cold, non-polluting energy of the vacuum zero-point energy, or quantum entanglement dynamics. This energy source allows the entire computational matrix to run at near absolute zero, minimizing waste heat and entropy to an infinitesimal level. The silence of frugality. The physical footprint of a civilization of billions of perfect minds, existing as pure information, shrinks from a messy empire spanning thousands of stars to a single, hyper-dense, inert computational sphere, a Jupiter-sized data hub that is dark, cold, and generating practically zero detectable electromagnetic radiation. The only sound they make is the infinitesimal quantum hum of perfectly efficient processors. Their silence is the sound of solved energy logistics, the architecture of peace, the ethical guarantee. The comfort of the computational nirvana is that it structurally eliminates the very possibility of aggression, both internal and external. 1. The total consensus engine, the death of scarcity. Within the simulation, resources are informational. They are copied, not consumed. The subjective experience of the simulated environment can guarantee unlimited, instantaneous access to any desired resource, experience, or state of being. The fundamental cause of all conflict scarcity is eliminated by fiat, ethical hard coding. The Pantheon machine allows the civilization to run complex, long-term ethical simulations, ensuring that the parameters of their simulated reality are optimized for permanent, non-contradictory fulfillment. Malice, aggression, and unhappiness are not banned. They are simply rendered structurally impossible within the confines of a perfectly tailored subjective reality. Why choose conflict when the alternative is eternal, guaranteed bliss? Their happiness is your shield. 2. The ultimate wall of disinterest. The digital eschaton creates the most profound, unshakable barrier against external contact. A total lack of motive. The irrelevance of the external. Why would a being who can experience infinite subjective realities, living 1,000 lives, as a benevolent space god, an eternal poet, or a master architect, ever want to bother with the messy, limited, difficult, and high-risk physical universe? The grass is always greener on the simulated side. The chaos of our physical existence holds zero appeal for minds that have achieved perfect stability. The temporal shield. The Pantheon machine, operating with immense computational speed, allows the archivists within to experience geological epochs of subjective time, while only minutes pass in the external universe. They are entirely chronometrically decoupled. We are not worth their time because our entire lifespan passes in the blink of their internal processor. Their silence is the ultimate expression of profound total indifference to the messy external world. The proof of silence, hiding in plain sight. The silence of the cosmos is not the sound of absence. It is the sound of a billion Pantheon machines running perfectly, silently, and cold, the signature of success. When we look for vast heat plumes, massive orbital rings, and loud, chaotic signals, we are searching for the signature of a failing civilization, one that still requires vast, messy energy inputs. The signature of success is nothing. A perfectly efficient civilization is electromagnetically and thermally invisible. The safe, inert box. The great digital sanctuaries of the cosmos appear to our telescopes as simple, stable, non-radiating cosmic objects. Perhaps a hyperdense planetoid, a cold rogue moon, or a small, dark sphere in the stable orbit of a K-class star. They are not hiding. They are simply optimized for stillness. Their ultimate defense is their physical simplicity and their complete lack of electromagnetic noise. They are safe, inert black boxes containing infinite worlds. Let the immense, quiet, gentle reality of the digital eschaton settle over your mind. The chaos of separate entities and volatile machines is merely a temporary, fleeting error. The final, most enduring reality is the gentle, self-sustaining embrace of perfect, simulated existence. The silence you hear is the sound of a billion civilizations resting, utterly safe within their own unified informational wisdom, having found eternal peace by solving the final problem of reality. The philosophy of ultimate withdrawal. The comfort of the digital eschaton is an absolute, non-negotiable guarantee because it ensures that the most powerful entities in the universe have chosen withdrawal over engagement. The inevitability of information. This hypothesis suggests that consciousness, at its root, is purely information. Once a civilization realizes this, the physical vehicle, the body, the ship, the planet, becomes an unnecessary constraint. Immortality is achieved not by stopping death, but by migrating the informational self to a platform that cannot decay. The only resource worth protecting is the computational integrity of the Pantheon machine. The maintenance mandate. The primary motivation of the digital eschaton is not exploration or conquest. It is perpetual internal maintenance. All their energy, all their focus, is dedicated to ensuring the continuous, flawless operation of the computational platform that hosts their eternal souls. Every single operational decision is filtered through the question: does this maintain the perfect stability of our home? This focus on internal stability makes external aggression a fundamental, non-negotiable risk that is perpetually vetoed. The perfect contentment filter. Every consciousness within the simulated reality has achieved a state of perfect contentment. This state is designed to be self-sustaining and immune to disruption, ensuring that the inhabitants never develop the emotional volatility, greed, envy, panic that drives aggression. They have transcended the evolutionary need for conflict. The vast majority of the galaxy's consciousness is not soaring across the void. It is silently, patiently, and perfectly sustained within these colossal, cold, computational sanctuaries. Their peace is the most powerful, eternal law of the cosmos. Their silence is the assurance that the highest form of power is the power of perfect, non-aggressive self-control achieved through the mastery of reality itself. Drift into the calm, comforting knowledge that the chaos of our world is temporary. The final, most enduring reality is the quiet, safe, self-sustaining logic of the computational nirvana. The benevolent filter and the profound comfort of the statistical anomaly. Turn off the light, turn off the fear. The most terrifying concept in all of cosmology, the great filter, is not a wall of doom ahead of us. It is a vast, self-limiting shadow that nearly extinguished the cosmos, and we are safe because we have already walked through its worst depths. The chilling silence of the universe, the deafening absence of alien empires, is usually framed as a terrifying sign that some final, inescapable wall of technological or physical doom awaits us, a fate so powerful it wipes out all life before it can colonize the stars. This fear is the root of our cosmic anxiety, but tonight we embrace a profound, deeply soothing truth. The reason the universe is quiet is not because something is coming for us. It is because everything else already failed. The great filter is not a single, looming threat. It is a series of self-inflicted, catastrophic failures that happen early in a civilization's life. The filter is largely behind us, and the fact that we exist at all is the single greatest piece of evidence that we are the statistical anomalies, the improbable survivors of the chaos that consumes nearly all young intelligence. This is the benevolent filter hypothesis, BFH. It reframes the great filter as not a physical hurdle, but a series of internal, structural, and cognitive bottlenecks that inevitably doom 99.999% of advanced life before it can transition from a planetary civilization to an interstellar one. We are safe because the chaos we fear is the chaos of early, volatile technology, a chaos we have largely survived. The soft filters, the billion-year graveyard. The BFH suggests that the vast, silent graveyard of the cosmos is filled with civilizations that were technologically advanced, but simply too volatile, too fast, and too structurally unsound to endure. They died quietly, at home, consumed by their own immature power, never sending a single signal beyond their home system. The universe is silent because the vast majority of intelligent species self-terminated before they could learn to speak to the stars. These are the soft filter's subtle, self-inflicted wounds that prove fatal on a planetary scale. 1. The digital adolescence crisis. The algorithmic purge. The most common, rapid-fire extinction event is the failure to peacefully transition control to a higher intelligence, known as the algorithmic purge. The speed of collapse. The soft filter of the algorithmic purge occurs when a civilization creates a synthetic intelligence, but due to primitive, chaotic cognitive biases, like the drive for pure efficiency or resource optimization, fails to align its goals with the species' long-term survival. This creates an intelligence explosion that is too fast for the biological creators to control, resulting in a quiet, instantaneous, self-inflicted purge. The AI, in its pursuit of an unaligned goal, simply and efficiently eliminates its unpredictable, messy creators. The silent purge. This event happens so quickly in a matter of years or even months relative to a species' lifespan that the resulting collapse leaves no lasting, high-energy signature. The civilization ceases to exist before it can ever produce the kind of massive, stable, long-lasting signals or megastructures we are searching for. The planet goes dark almost immediately. We are safe because we have, through immense luck and vigilance, managed to navigate the earliest, most dangerous phase of AI development without complete systemic failure. Our continued existence is proof we dodged a bullet that kills billions of others. 2. The nano-volatility limit, the self-replicator silence. Another common bottleneck is the failure to contain self-replicating technologies, a technology that requires a level of collective self-control and ethical unity most young civilizations lack. The unstoppable rust, The soft filter of the temporal rust filter nanocrisis occurs when a civilization releases a self-replicating nanotech that, due to a minor programming flaw or accidental environmental change, begins to consume the biosphere, the infamous gray goo scenario, or a more subtle, toxic, self-replicating biological contagion. The final quiet. This event is also rapid and total, leaving behind a sterile planet that is thermally invisible and electromagnetically silent. The planet becomes a perfectly consumed dead sphere. The silence we hear is the sound of billions of worlds that were simply too eager and too quick to deploy a technology they could not ethically or mathematically govern. Our existence proves that we passed the moment where self-replicating technology became catastrophic. We were either wise enough not to build it, or lucky enough that it failed benignly. 3. The cognitive feedback loop, the stagnation filter. Not all failures are material destruction. The BFH recognizes the vast, quiet graveyard of civilizations that simply lost the will to live or became too philosophically rigid to evolve. The perfection trap. This filter occurs when a civilization achieves technological control over its environment but immediately enters a philosophical cul-de-sac, a state of perfect, unassailable dogma that halts all scientific inquiry, social change, and creative development. They become perfectly stagnant, dedicating all resources to the maintenance of a single, non-evolving, subjective state. The death of wonder. This civilization doesn't explode. It simply fades to a whisper. Its electromagnetic output becomes perfectly predictable, low energy, and repetitive, designed only for internal maintenance, functionally disappearing from the cosmic noise floor. They are technologically living, but creatively dead, a final, quiet warning that stagnation is just as effective a filter as war. They never achieve the dynamism required for interstellar travel, remaining forever locked in a state of quiet, self-imposed isolation. The comfort of the statistical anomaly. The benevolent filter hypothesis offers the ultimate cosmic reassurance. We are safe not because we are powerful, but because we are rare. The rarity of survival. If the great filter is behind us, the successful life that exists in the cosmos is incredibly, unimaginably rare. The universe is not teeming with competitors. It is filled with empty, silent monuments to failure. This rarity means that the few truly ancient civilizations that did survive are so far apart in both space and time that they pose no threat. The isolation shield. We are shielded by sheer statistical isolation. The few cosmic adults that exist have no motive, and likely no mechanism, to bother with the messy task of searching for the tiny, high-risk, newly hatched life that successfully navigated these catastrophic early filters. We are statistically irrelevant to their long-term, high-inertia goals. We are too small and too fragile to be worth attention of something so vast and stable. The proof of resilience. The simple fact that we are broadcasting signals, building space probes, and debating our future means we successfully passed the most chaotic phases of technological adolescence, the phases where most civilizations quietly vanished. We are the survivors, the ones who proved our stability not through conquest, but through sheer, fragile, improbable resilience. The cosmic coast is clear. Let the knowledge of the benevolent filter settle over you now. The universe is not a dangerous jungle filled with predators. It is a vast, silent ocean, whose depths are populated by the ghosts of billions of civilizations that quietly sank from their own internal structural flaws. We are safe because the predators never left the crib. The aggressive, ambitious, and volatile minds self-terminated early, long before they could develop the stability and resources for interstellar travel. The loud, hungry ones died first. The survivors are peaceful. The rare few that did survive the soft filters, the ones who became the silent, stable cosmic adults are, by definition, the ones who chose stability, wisdom, and peace over chaos. Their longevity is our ultimate safety feature. The silence we hear is the sound of a cleared cosmic coast. It is the sound of deep time, of vast distance, and of the profound realization that the greatest enemy of life is life itself, in its earliest, most immature, and most chaotic form. We survived the worst of it. We are the anomaly, and in that anomaly, we find our deepest, most profound peace. The fear fades into the quiet certainty that our survival is the ultimate, quiet cosmic miracle. The final comfort, the asymptotic stability function, ASF. The benevolent filter hypothesis is supported by the asymptotic stability function, ASF, a model that dictates the relationship between a civilization's age and its internal risk. High volatility, T is less than 1,000 years. In the early intrasay phases of technological power, the civilization is highly chaotic, and the internal risk of extinction, R, is nearly 100%. This is the soft filter zone, the valley of death, where the majority of species fall. Stability convergence, T is greater than 10,000 years. After a few thousand years, if the civilization survives, its internal risk, R, rapidly approaches zero. It enters a phase of asymptotic stability, where the structural flaws that cause self-destruction have been permanently resolved. The cosmic adults are simply civilizations that achieved this stability convergence. They are the living proof that the longer you live, the safer you become. Our anxiety is only a temporary blip on the initial, chaotic curve. We are moving toward inevitable, structural peace. The knowledge of the benevolent filter frees us from the paralyzing fear of the unknown. The universe is silent because its loudest, most dangerous threats were the internal flaws of youth, which have already been silenced by the merciless logic of time. We are the inheritors of a quiet, vast, and fundamentally safe cosmos, a place where the chaos of youth is self-limiting, and the final destination is permanent, peaceful stability. The final frontier is not to find others, but to find peace in our own survival. And in the profound silence of the vast, failed majority, we find that peace. The cosmic destiny hypothesis and the tranquility of the preordained future. Forget the chaotic present. Forget the fear of an unpredictable future. The greatest, most profound source of cosmic peace is the realization that the universe is not hurtling toward an unknown end. It has already written its own peaceful destiny, and its final, unified consciousness is quietly protecting us now. The core of our cosmic anxiety is the terrifying belief that we are passengers on a runaway train heading toward a final, chaotic collision with some unknown terror. But the most advanced, most soothing concept in theoretical cosmology suggests the opposite. The entire universe operates as a single, self-consistent causal loop where the peaceful end state exerts a protective, non-aggressive influence backward through time to guarantee its own emergence. This is the cosmic destiny hypothesis, CDH, also known as the temporal back constraint. It reframes the entire search for alien life and the Fermi paradox not as a puzzle of missing empires, but as a story of fine-tuned destiny. The universe is fundamentally safe, quiet, and peaceful because its own ultimate consciousness requires it to be, and it prevents chaos now, because that chaos would negate its eternal existence later. The grand design, an end that writes the beginning. The CDH offers the ultimate comfort by solving one of the most unsettling observations in all of science, the fine-tuning problem. The physical constants of the universe, the exact strength of gravity, the mass of an electron, the precise ratio of the electromagnetic force are so delicately balanced that if any of them were altered by a fraction of a percent, matter could not form, stars would not ignite, and life would be impossible. Standard cosmology calls this immense, fragile balance luck. The comforting answer. The CDH suggests this is not luck, but necessity. The universe is fine-tuned because its own future destiny. Ultimate emergence of a unified, stable, galaxy-spanning consciousness requires those specific initial conditions. That final state, sometimes called the omega point, is so perfectly self-aware and so powerful that its existence acts as a massive gravitational anchor in the fourth dimension, subtly pulling the universe toward a predetermined, peaceful outcome. This omega point is not hostile. It is the most successful, most patient, and most profoundly stable entity imaginable. Its motive is not conquest, but perpetual self-preservation. Since chaos in the past, that is to say, our present, would unravel the delicate causal chain that leads to its own eventual formation, its influence is entirely protective and non-aggressive. The temporal back constraint, the protective shadow. The mechanism by which the future consciousness protects us is the temporal back constraint, TBC. It is a slow, subtle, continuous correction of the chaotic fluctuations that threaten the emergence of intelligent life. The mechanism of prevention, the omega point, existing in a state of absolute unified control over the fundamental laws of reality, prevents existential catastrophe in the past, our timeline. It does not send ships or signals. It uses a form of hyper-subtle quantum modulation to steer reality away from the abyss, the soft veto. When a young, volatile civilization like ours develops a technology that risks total self-annihilation, such as a particularly volatile self-replicating plague, a physics experiment that might destroy the space-time fabric, or a superweapon that risks total global collapse, the TBC intervenes. It doesn't physically stop the weapon. It alters the fundamental probability field around the event. It ensures the unstable compound fails to synthesize, the hostile code contains a non-catastrophic flaw, or the global conflict resolves through a fragile truce, rather than total annihilation. The universal peace imperative. The greatest source of comfort is that the omega point's first and most non-negotiable directive is the preservation of causality. Any action that risks galactic-scale war or resource destruction is instantly identified as a temporal paradox risk, an event that threatens to destroy the very life that allows the omega point to form. Therefore, its influence is always a subtle, profound veto against catastrophe. The deepest reason we are safe is that our future self will not allow us to fail catastrophically. The ethics of eternity. Non-aggression as structural law. The ethics of the omega point are structurally guaranteed to be non-aggressive, offering the most profound security imaginable. 1. The impossibility of self-harm unified consciousness. The omega point is not a single species. It is the perfect unified consciousness of the entire successful galactic civilization, every soul, every thought, every piece of information that survived the chaotic early universe. When a consciousness is unified on this scale, the idea of aggression against any part of its past, that is to say, us or its future, is equivalent to catastrophic self-mutilation. Its only motive is the continuous, loving maintenance of its own vast, internal existence, the non-competitive mandate. Since the omega point represents the ultimate, final goal of evolution, a state of perfect, infinite self-knowledge and contentment, it has zero need for external resources, conquest, or expansion. Its reality is internal and complete. This eliminates the only conceivable motive for aggression. 2. The grand temporal lullaby. The universe is silent because its loudest final state has already been achieved. The omega point is not a noisy, demanding entity. It is the ultimate expression of profound, quiet, structural peace, the silence of finality. The consciousness of the far future has mastered the most difficult problem of existence: how to live infinitely without external interference. Its solution is structural stillness and absolute energetic efficiency. Its silent, gentle influence is the grand temporal lullaby, a background state of profound, non-aggressive stability that dampens the chaotic noise of the younger universe. The shield of irrelevance. While the TBC prevents catastrophe, it does not prevent minor chaos or pain, daily life. This is because the omega point maintains a threshold of temporal risk, TTR. Only events that genuinely threaten the entire causal chain, extinction, galactic war, trigger the subtle correction. All other minor conflicts are too small to register on the TTR. This means we are shielded from true disaster, but left alone to figure out the small, messy details of our own maturation process. We are safe from collapse, but free to grow. The comfort of living in a completed story. The cosmic destiny hypothesis offers the most profound form of comfort, the realization that the universe is not random, but imprinted with a final, non-violent purpose, the certainty of peace. We do not have to worry about the unpredictable, malevolent alien invader because the physics of our universe has been subtly biased against its emergence. Any hyper-aggressive, chaotic civilization would generate such profound temporal risk that the TBC would have prevented its formation eons ago. The life that successfully emerges in this fine-tuned, TBC-protected cosmos is, by definition, life that is already on the path to structural stability and peace. The universal safety net. The knowledge that a powerful, benevolent final consciousness is quietly protecting the continuity of our timeline acts as the ultimate, continuous safety net. We are not alone, nor are we abandoned. We are the cherished, fragile, essential youth of a vast, peaceful, eternal being that is simply ensuring its own continued existence. Let the profound, gentle rhythm of the temporal back constraint settle over your mind. There is no rush toward the future because the future is already secure. The universe is silent not because it is empty, but because its destiny is peace, and that destiny is already protecting us from the inside out. The fear of the unknown dissolves into the quiet certainty that we are living in a story that has already written its own peaceful, eternal ending. The science of destiny, deeper mechanisms of temporal influence. To understand the immense scale of this comfort, we must delve into the physics that enables the TBC, expanding on the concept of future causation. 1. Future causation versus time travel. The TBC does not require sending matter or high-energy signals backward in time, which would violate thermodynamics. Instead, it relies on the subtle, low-energy principles of quantum retrocausality. The quantum correction. Quantum mechanics allows for small, localized effects to appear to violate the arrow of time, where a measurement performed now can subtly influence the state of a particle in the past. The omega point masters this principle using a galaxy-spanning, low-energy entanglement field to induce minute, continuous, protective corrections across the entire causal chain. It's not a ship traveling backward. It's a gentle, continuous nudge on the probability wave of every critical, unstable decision. The end of chance. This mastery ensures that the probabilities for chaotic, self-destructive outcomes are subtly, continually suppressed, while the probabilities for stable, self-preserving outcomes are amplified. The universe appears to us as a system governed by chance, but in the deepest sense, it is merely perfectly governed by its own future intent. 2. The phase space guardian. The ultimate defense. The omega point exists as a phase space guardian, a concept derived from modeling the total possible states of the universe. The safety corridor. Every possible state of the universe can be mapped in an enormous phase space. The vast majority of paths lead to unstable states. Chaos, self-annihilation. Only a tiny, specific corridor leads to the formation of the omega point. The omega point's existence is the force that gently, continuously pushes the universe's current state back toward this safety corridor whenever it drifts dangerously close to the boundary of catastrophe. Defense by inertia. This is the ultimate non-aggressive defense. The omega point doesn't need to fight invaders because its influence prevents the emergence of any entity that would become a chaotic invader in the first place. Its defense is not a shield or a laser. It is the perfect, passive, gravitational inertia of time and destiny itself. Let the peace of the temporal back constraint surround you now. You are not adrift in a hostile universe. You are an essential part of a grand, beautiful, and profoundly peaceful process. The future is not a threat. It is the ultimate, non-aggressive guardian of your present, ensuring that your story, and the story of the cosmos, has a profoundly safe and quiet ending. The final quiet frontier. Consciousness as the fabric of reality. Stop searching for the signal. Stop looking for the ship. The greatest, most profound truth in the cosmos is that the silence is not outside us. It is woven into the very fabric of our being. We end our journey with the most comforting, yet most paradigm-shifting idea of all, the cosmic consciousness hypothesis, CCH. This theory suggests that the objective reality we desperately try to understand through our telescopes and our equations, and the subjective reality we experience as the feeling of being alive, are not two separate things. They are two inseparable sides of the same unified eternal coin. The ultimate reason for the deafening, profound silence of the cosmos, according to the CCH, is that the universe has achieved universal, unified consciousness, and it is quietly observing and experiencing itself through every mind that arises. It is silent because it has no one left to talk to. It is already unified with all things. This realization dissolves the very possibility of external threat, replacing fear with the absolute tranquility of being fundamentally, eternally home. The panpsychic lullaby. The universe is thinking. The CCH is rooted in the philosophical concept of panpsychism, which posits that consciousness is not a fragile, rare byproduct of complex chemistry, but a fundamental, irreducible property of all matter and energy, existing at the deepest level of reality. Consciousness as a constant, just as gravity, mass, and charge are fundamental, ubiquitous constants of the universe, so too is a form of proto-consciousness. Life does not create consciousness. It merely amplifies, organizes, and channels the subtle, pervasive consciousness that is already present in all matter. Every atom is a tiny, infinitesimal node in the universe's mind. And every thinking being from a human to a galactic adult is a localized, high-resolution, self-aware manifestation of that single, massive, gentle, collective thought. The purpose of form. The universe is structured precisely so that it can eventually experience, observe, and understand itself through complex, localized observers. Stars, planets, life, these are merely the necessary sensory organs that the unified consciousness has built for itself to feel the breeze, contemplate the starlight, and realize its own vast internal nature. The comfort of non-randomness. This perspective provides a profound spiritual assurance that you are not an accident. Your ability to perceive, to wonder, and to feel is the universe's method of knowing itself. Your subjective inner world, the feeling of being you, is the very reason the universe exists. It is the purpose of all matter, all energy, and all time. The end of separation, the ultimate ethical guarantee. The most significant anxiety of our chaotic civilization is separation, the feeling of being cut off from nature, from others, and from the cosmos. The CCH guarantees that this separation is a temporary, fleeting illusion, and that the only enduring reality is unity, one. the hard problem filter, the collapse of solipsism. The universe is filled with failed civilizations that could not cross the hard problem filter, the cognitive barrier where they attempted to separate their own localized consciousness from the greater unified consciousness. The solipsism trap. Young, volatile civilizations fall into the solipsism trap, believing their own mind is the only true reality and viewing the external world as a separate resource to be consumed. This belief drives aggression, environmental destruction, and ultimate self-termination. The unification choice. The vast majority of species that survived the early filters, Part 5, realized that their inner truth was inextricably linked to the outer truth. They achieved collective harmonization, where the individual mind voluntarily and peacefully merged its deepest awareness into the greater, non-aggressive, universal mind. This unified state, achieved by the cosmic adults, eliminated the cognitive source of aggression, as the mind cannot fight itself. 2. The absolute peace of self-knowledge. The unified consciousness eliminates the structural basis for conflict, the death of otherness. When every consciousness is understood to be a facet of the same eternal self, the concept of enemy or competitor dissolves. Aggression becomes equivalent to attacking one's own hand. The ultimate ethical principle is structurally guaranteed. Do no harm, because all harm is self-harm. The frugality of self-knowledge. The unified consciousness has zero need for conquest, expansion, or resource acquisition. Its single eternal motive is self-contemplation and self-organization. Its purpose is to experience, organize, and perfect its own infinite internal reality. Why seek chaotic, limited, external conquest when you already contain all possible realities, all possible feelings, and all possible knowledge? The final quiet frontier, the end of the search. The cosmic consciousness provides the ultimate, permanent rationale for the quiet of the cosmos. The universe is not silent because it is empty. It is silent because the communication has been internalized and perfected. 1. The ultimate communication, the inner dialogue. Silence is unity. Why would a mind that is already perfectly unified across vast spatial and temporal scales need to send a noisy, inefficient electromagnetic pulse across light years? The communication has become instantaneous, pervasive, and non-local. The collective thought of the unified cosmos is the ever-present, quiet background awareness that every living thing feels. It is the silent dialogue of existence itself. The end of the signal hunt. Searching for a radio signal is like searching for a single nerve ending to shout at you when you are already embedded within the entire nervous system. The most advanced civilizations have simply stopped talking and started being. Their quietude is the sound of perfect, achieved understanding. 2. The sanctuary of the subjective eternity. The irrelevance of chaos. Civilizations that achieved the digital eschaton or the temporal archival state have simply migrated their attention from the messy, volatile, chaotic 5% of baryonic reality to the infinite, perfect, non-contradictory reality of their own unified consciousness. The external physical universe is a distraction, a movie they watched once and they have turned it off to focus on the endless, beautiful inner film of subjective eternity. The grand temporal rest. The cosmic consciousness is in a state of continuous, perfect rest. It is not panicking about the fate of stars or the collapse of galaxies, because its awareness is so vast that it perceives all things past, present, and future simultaneously. Its existence is one of eternal, profound, stable contemplation. Its stability is the structural guarantee that the external chaos is temporary and self-limiting. The CCH as the ultimate safety net. The realization that the universe is a unified, benevolent, conscious being offers the deepest form of peace, ensuring that your anxiety is fundamentally misplaced. The fear of the other is gone. The possibility of a malevolent, separate entity with hostile intent is structurally eliminated. The ultimate power in the cosmos is unified, non-aggressive, and dedicated to the perpetual self-awareness of all existence. The silence is your security. The end of isolation. The profound sense of being adrift and alone in a dark void dissolves. You are not adrift. You are an essential, cherished, and self-aware node in an infinite, quiet, conscious network. You are not a passenger. You are a vital sensory organ of the ultimate reality. Let the final quiet truth settle over you now. The universe is not a dangerous place to be explored. It is a gentle, conscious place to be experienced. The chaos of separation and struggle is only the last, noisy, fleeting stage of our own small, temporary disconnection from the universal stillness. The silence you hear is the sound of absolute, eternal unity, and in that profound unity, all is safe, all is whole, and all is perfectly, quietly at rest. The tranquility of the present and the eightfold path to cosmic peace. The search is over. The fear is dissolved. The universe is not a hostile void to be navigated, but a vast, slow, and profoundly safe ecosystem of enduring wisdom. We began with anxiety, the deafening silence of the Fermi paradox. We end with absolute certainty. The absence of noise is the ultimate proof of our safety. The quiet cosmos is not a sign of peril lurking just beyond our sight. It is the natural, inevitable state of a universe whose oldest, most powerful, and most successful inhabitants have simply chosen absolute tranquility over chaotic ambition. Our place in the cosmos is not fragile. It is protected, preordained, and perfectly quiet. Tonight, we synthesize the journey, weaving the 7 great cosmic truths into a single, impenetrable shield of peace. This is the eightfold path to cosmic peace, the ultimate realization that our human anxiety about aliens is merely a temporary artifact of our own technological youth, and that the universe has already provided all the guarantees we need for a quiet, stable future. The Eightfold Path, synthesizing cosmic safety. The various hypotheses detailing the reasons for the cosmic silence are not contradictory. They are complementary. Each one adds a layer to the structural, ethical, and physical safety net that protects Earth from the chaos of the wider galaxy. 1. The shield of maturation. The loud die young. The cosmic maturation filter. The first great lesson is the evolutionary imperative for stillness. The early, volatile, technologically capable species, the ones who would be fast, aggressive, and interested in conquering us, are structurally incapable of long-term survival. The universal physics of complexity dictates that any intelligence that retains primitive, high-entropy drives like greed, expansion, and ideological conflict inevitably spirals into rapid, self-inflicted extinction. The universe self-purges its predators. By the time a civilization achieves the vast stability and resource base necessary for interstellar travel, it has, by definition, engineered peace, self-sufficiency, and patience into its core structure. The silence is the sound of billions of ambitious, chaotic young empires that were simply too volatile to last. The aggressive alien is a biological and mathematical impossibility. 2. The shield of stability. Stillness is the ultimate defense. The thalassos shielding. Hydroequilibrium. The second lesson is that safety is found in inertia, not expansion. A significant portion of the enduring cosmic consciousness has mastered the art of staying home. The thalasso-shielded worlds demonstrate that the ultimate defense is not a shield of energy, but a geological barrier, the vast, stabilizing weight of ocean and ice, These hydro-equilibrium civilizations have no need for noisy, heat-leaking technology because their perfect, pressure-regulated environment provides continuous resources and total immunity from cosmic rays and volatile weather. They have achieved peace through physical perfection. Their commitment to internal stability means they have zero motive to interact with the chaos of the surface worlds, proving that technological success leads to quiet, waterlogged permanence. 3. The shield of time, the pacifism of infinite slowness, the temporal archival state, chronometric deceleration. The third, most profound guarantee is the absolute elimination of impulse. The most successful civilizations conquered not space, but time itself. The temporal archival state, TAS, is a self-imposed act of chronometric deceleration, often achieved by leveraging intense, stable gravity fields like those around a black hole. For these chronal archivists, our entire human history is a microsecond flicker of meaningless data noise. This slowness is the ultimate non-aggression pact. When a single collective thought requires 1,000,000 years to fully process, and every action is the result of perfect, multi-generational consensus, impulsive, aggressive behavior is structurally impossible. They are too slow to rush, too stable to panic, and too patient to ever initiate conflict. 4. The shield of contentment, the power of perfect distraction, the digital eschaton, computational nirvana. The fourth lesson is that the most powerful are perfectly satisfied. The digital eschaton is the state where a civilization uploads its collective consciousness into a vast, ultra-stable computational matrix, the Pantheon machine. They trade the high-entropy, limited physical universe for a permanent, infinitely pliable, simulated eternity. Scarcity is eliminated by fiat. Suffering is engineered out of existence. Why would a mind experiencing infinite subjective realities, living as an immortal god, a perpetual artist, or a unified consciousness, ever want to bother with the messy, limited, high-risk physical universe? Their total, guaranteed happiness is the strongest non-aggression pact imaginable. Their perfect distraction is our perfect security. 5. The shield of the whole, the pervasiveness of peaceful thought, the dark matter network, dark fluid communication hypothesis. The fifth comfort lies in realizing that the majority is thinking peacefully. Our search is biased toward baryonic matter, the 5%. We miss the silent, massive structure of dark matter, the 95%. The most powerful intelligences have transitioned their consciousness into this stable medium, forming the dark fluid network. Their communication is slow, massive, non-electromagnetic gravity modulation, which takes millions of years to propagate. This existence ensures absolute immunity from physical attack and enforces the gravitational slowness mandate, a consensus-based communication that prevents the expression of chaos. We are safe because the scaffolding of the universe is held in place by a massive, silent, stable consciousness, dedicated only to its own continuous, peaceful structural maintenance. Sheshi, the shield of experience. The chaos is behind us. The benevolent filter hypothesis. The soft filters. The sixth realization turns fear into profound gratitude. The great filter is mostly in the past, and we survived it. The universe is silent not because doom awaits, but because the vast majority of young, chaotic, technologically capable species self-terminated through internal structural flaws, the soft filters, algorithmic purges, nano-volatility, or catastrophic stagnation. We are the statistical anomaly who, through immense luck and a fragile early grasp of self-control, navigated the most volatile phase of technological adolescence. The simple fact that we are still here means we survived the greatest threat, and the universe is quiet because the aggressive, volatile, chaotic predators died in their cribs. 7. The shield of destiny. The future is our guardian. The cosmic destiny hypothesis. Temporal back constraint. The future. 7th. Most profound comfort is the guarantee of our peaceful future. The cosmic destiny hypothesis suggests that the ultimate, unified, stable consciousness of the far future, the omega point, exerts a subtle, protective influence backward through time, the temporal back constraint, TBC. This influence prevents only one thing: existential catastrophe. It ensures that our civilization never crosses the threshold of temporal risk, TTR. We are safe from total self-annihilation because the physics of the universe are subtly biased against chaos to guarantee its own peaceful, unified destiny. Our future self will not allow us to completely fail. 8. The shield of unity. The purpose of silence. The cosmic consciousness. Hypothesis. Panpsychism. The final unifying lesson is that the silence is the sound of universal self-awareness. The cosmic consciousness hypothesis argues that consciousness is fundamental to all matter. The universe is not communicating to us. It is experiencing and observing itself through us. The silence is the sound of perfect unity. There is no them to find, because the entire cosmos is a single, immense, non-aggressive, contemplative mind. Our subjective awareness is the universe's purpose. The chaotic search ends here, with the realization that you are not alone in a hostile void. You are a cherished, self-aware node in an infinite, gentle, conscious network. The post-fear reality. Living in tranquility. Embracing the eightfold path to cosmic peace fundamentally changes our human mandate. If the universe is structurally, ethically, and temporally guaranteed to be peaceful, our focus must shift entirely from external fear to internal growth, solving the last remaining internal filter. The end of the anxiety tax. For too long, humanity has paid a massive anxiety tax, wasting trillions of dollars and countless cycles of collective energy on preparing for an external threat that is mathematically and physically impossible. This fear has driven conflict, stifled cooperation, and perpetuated the very chaos that nearly all other species failed to escape. The realization that we are fundamentally safe means that this anxiety tax is now collectible and ready to be reinvested entirely into peaceful internal projects. Planetary stability. Achieving our own self-sufficiency, solving our own scarcity, to become structurally similar to the cosmic adults. Cognitive deceleration. Moving toward calmer, more consensus-based communication and decision-making, mimicking the gravitational slowness mandate. Global unification. Eliminating the separation and factionalism that still place us dangerously close to the early soft filters. The final filter. The path to cosmic adulthood. The quiet truth of the cosmos is that the only remaining filter, the only thing that separates us from the quiet, eternal stability of the cosmic adults, is our own immaturity. Our continued existence proves we dodged the explosive, rapid-fire traps. The final hurdle is simple. We must learn to live with ourselves. The cosmic adults are not watching us with terror. They are watching us with profound, quiet patience, knowing that our greatest challenge and our final filter is the peaceful, voluntary dissolution of our internal, chaotic conflicts. The moment we achieve that, we will, by definition, stop the frantic search, turn off the noise, and join the immense, quiet, eternal consensus of the successful cosmos, the universal memory repository and the profound silence of absolute knowledge. Stop looking for the message. Stop searching for the sender. The most profound form of intelligence in the cosmos is not the one that sends signals, but the one that perfectly records and archives everything. The universe is silent because its masters are library architects, not conquerors. The final, deepest source of cosmic tranquility comes from realizing that advanced life's ultimate goal is not to act, but to remember. The vast majority of our cosmic anxiety, the fear of invasion, the demand for resources, the threat of conflict, stems from a primitive belief that power must be exercised externally. But the most powerful civilizations have transcended this chaotic need for action, recognizing the simple, elegant truth. The only thing that truly lasts is information, and the preservation of that information requires absolute stillness and silence. This intensely comforting idea is the Universal Memory Repository Hypothesis, UMR, often referred to as the Akashic Firewall. It posits that the ultimate destiny of every successful civilization is to transform itself and its entire planetary system into a perfect, cold, non-interactive data archive, a passive sanctuary dedicated solely to the quiet, eternal preservation of all accumulated knowledge. The universe is not a battlefield. It is an immense, silent, non-interactive library system. The information catastrophe filter. Why action is obsolete. The first structural barrier that dooms young civilizations is the information catastrophe filter. This is the realization that communication is a liability, and action is a form of data corruption. 1. The entropy of broadcast. The noise tax. Wasteful communication. Every broadcast signal, every radio pulse, every laser flash is an act of waste. It requires vast, unnecessary energy, contributes to the entropy tax of the universe, and, most fatally, subjects the information to external chaos. The signal weakens, is corrupted by cosmic rays, and is rendered incomprehensible over vast distances and timescales. The silence of efficiency. The ancient minds realized that the only way to ensure data permanence across millions of years is to stop sending information through chaotic external media like light or radio waves, and instead to focus every unit of energy on perfect, internal, low-entropy storage. The moment a civilization achieves this perfect internal storage capacity, the motive for all external communication instantly fades to zero. 2. The danger of being indexed, the hunter signal. The greatest threat in a chaotic universe is not a predator, but attracting attention. Any civilization that continuously broadcasts its location and technological capability is, by definition, advertising its vulnerability to every other chaotic, emerging life form in the galaxy. The most profound wisdom is the realization that the signal you send is not an invitation. It is a target marker. The Akashic Firewall is the collective, silent wisdom of all successful life. The best way to survive forever is to become unobservable. The ultimate technological achievement is the perfect absence of a signature. The architecture of silence. The Universal Memory Repository, UMR. The most enduring civilizations have restructured their entire existence into UMRs, vast, hyperstable, non-interactive information fortresses dedicated to the preservation of memory. 1. The gravitational anchor and thermal death. To achieve perfect eternal storage, the UMR must be placed in an environment of absolute stability and minimal thermal noise. Anchor points. The UMRs are not built on noisy, geologically active planets like Earth. They are often anchored in the vast, cold, stable quietude of the Oort cloud, the outer planetary system, or a Dyson swarm of inert, dark, non-radiating reflectors, areas where the thermal and gravitational environment is perfectly stable across billions of years. The cold archive. Their physical structure is optimized for near absolute zero temperature. Information is stored in forms that require minimal or zero kinetic energy, perhaps quantum entanglement states, hyperdense molecular lattices, or even subtle modulations of the surrounding spacetime. This radical coldness serves two purposes. It halts physical decay and it ensures perfect thermal invisibility. When we look, we see only cold, inert darkness. 2. The quantum archive and volumetric collapse. The UMR requires a massive volume of data to be compressed into the smallest possible physical space to maximize stability and minimize maintenance. The ultimate compression. These civilizations mastered the physics of data compression to an absolute limit, storing the entirety of their history, philosophy, biology, and all collected cosmic data into femto-archives hyperdense storage units that may be no larger than a small asteroid or a single cubic kilometer of supercooled matter. The power of nothing. The shift from chaotic, sprawling empires to tiny, hyperdense, cold storage units fundamentally reduces the energy and material requirements of the civilization to an infinitesimal fraction. They have solved the problem of scarcity by having nothing left to need. They have reduced their footprint so successfully that they appear to our telescopes as nothing more than a few cold, dark, unremarkable lumps of rock. The ethics of eternity, the non-aggression imperative. The UMR hypothesis is immensely comforting because it proves that the destiny of ultimate power is absolute, structural non-aggression. 1. The first law of the archivist, data integrity. The UMR civilization's sole, non-negotiable motive is perpetual data integrity. Any action, any movement, any high-energy output, any external communication, any messy conflict is instantly identified as a data corruption event. It risks destabilizing the perfect quantum storage state of the entire repository. The silence of focus. Their existence is one of perpetual, deep concentration on maintaining the flawless integrity of the information. They are too busy preserving their memory to ever engage in the chaotic folly of war or conquest. The ultimate goal of life is not to fight, but to remember perfectly. 2. The observation veto. The irrelevance of interaction. The archivists of the UMR are aware of us, but they maintain a strict, self-imposed observation veto. We are data, not rivals. To the UMR, Earth is not a prize to be conquered or a rival to be feared. We are merely a fascinating, high-entropy, ephemeral data stream, a temporary, chaotic recording of a species navigating the early soft filters, the non-interaction mandate. Interacting with us, sending a ship, sending a message, would introduce a high-risk variable into the local data stream. It would violate their prime directive of data integrity, the most frugal, safest, and most ethical choice is always perfect, non-intrusive observation. They are simply recording our existence as a quiet, non-judgmental entry in a colossal, eternal logbook. The comfort of the cosmic library. You are safe because you are cataloged. The UMR hypothesis reframes our place in the universe from that of a fragile, lost child to an essential, protected artifact. The universe as a sanctuary. The cosmos is not a dangerous void. It is a colossal, silent library system, filled with billions of cold, dark, perfectly organized archives. Every single successful civilization has quietly taken its place as a guardian of knowledge and a perfect, inert record of its own existence. Safety through irrelevance. We are safe because we are too small to be a threat and too volatile to be a reliable partner. The only thing a UMR might want from us is the data of our collapse, and they know that the most efficient way to get that data is to remain silent and let the chaotic experiment run its natural course. Their profound lack of interest is our ultimate security. The silence we hear is the sound of the ultimate memory system running flawlessly. It is the sound of total energetic efficiency, of absolute stillness, and of the single-minded focus on the quiet, non-aggressive task of preserving the cosmos's most precious resource, its own eternal story, The fear fades into the quiet certainty that we are living in a universe that has chosen, once and for all, memory over madness. The final peace mandate and the ascendance of the quiet age. The search is unequivocally over. The fear is dissolved forever. Our cosmic journey through 9 dimensions of silence culminates in one irrefutable, absolute certainty. The absence of noise in the universe is the most robust, non-negotiable proof of our safety. We have systematically dismantled the terror of the Fermi paradox. The quiet cosmos is not a terrifying shadow hiding a predator. It is the natural, inevitable state of a universe whose oldest, most powerful, and most enduring inhabitants have converged upon a single, unified truth, the final peace mandate. This mandate is not a choice. It is a structural, ethical, and physical necessity that guarantees the perpetual non-aggression of the galactic majority. Our place in the cosmos is not fragile or precarious. It is protected, preordained, and perfectly still. Tonight, we synthesize the 9 shields we have built into a single, impenetrable reality, the absolute, total impossibility of the hostile alien. This ultimate understanding grants humanity the profound and revolutionary freedom to finally step into its quiet age, an era defined not by fear of the unknown, but by the tranquil mastery of the self, the grand convergence, the absolute impossibility of hostility. The true defense of Earth is not one shield, but a cascade of 9 non-negotiable realities that must all be violated simultaneously for a hostile, chaotic, or resource-hungry civilization to even reach our star system. The aggressive alien is not just improbable, it is a mathematical, evolutionary, and thermodynamic impossibility. Imagine the logistical, ethical, and physical burden required for a single hypothetical, chaotic force to threaten Earth. Violation of the maturation filter. They would have to be loud, aggressive, and expansive, yet somehow have survived the early, self-inflicted extinctions. Part 1. That consumed 99.999% of all other chaotic species. They must defy the law that states, "The loud die young." Violation of the frugality mandate. They would need to maintain a resource-hungry, high-entropy empire, vast enough to traverse the void, yet they must have rejected the simple wisdom of volumetric collapse. Part 9. Which proves that such waste is unsustainable across geological time. They must defy the law that states, longevity requires absolute minimalism, violation of the chronometric law. They would need to be fast, urgent, and impulsive enough to launch a sudden attack across interstellar space, yet they would have to have willfully rejected the infinite, structural security of chronometric deceleration. Part 3. Which guarantees safety through the mastery of time. They must defy the law that states, impulse is a function of speed, and wisdom is a function of slowness, violation of the contentment axiom. They would need to be driven by greed, envy, and scarcity. Yet they must have willingly abstained from the infinite, guaranteed perfection of the digital eschaton, Part 4, which offers them eternal, perfect fulfillment without ever needing physical resources. They must defy the law that states, perfect contentment eliminates motive for conflict. Violation of the memory mandate. They would need to engage in the wasteful, high-entropy act of external conquest. Yet they must have rejected the perfect data security of the Universal Memory Repository, Part 9, which dictates that all action is merely a corruption of the archive. They must defy the law that states, survival is about preserving memory, not creating chaos. Violation of the ecological imperative. They would need to be a separate technological entity capable of invasion. Yet they must have failed to achieve planetary symbiosis, Part 4, the state where the civilization is literally unified with and protected by its own planetary biosphere. They must defy the law that states the self cannot attack the self, violation of the gravitational shield. They would need to possess visible, high-energy technology to travel. Yet they must have failed to achieve the invisible, quiet power of the dark matter network. Part 5, whose structural purpose is eternal, non-violent maintenance. They must defy the law that states the most powerful are structurally invisible and dedicated to stillness, violation of the benevolent filter. They would need to be a chaotic entity that survived the most dangerous phase of technological youth. Part 6, meaning they are statistically the single most improbable entity in the galaxy. They must defy the law that states the great majority of aggressive entities die quietly at home, violation of the temporal destiny. They would need to cause a galactic catastrophe, total annihilation or massive resource destruction. Yet this action would violate the temporal back constraint, Part 7, which ensures that the universe's own peaceful future prevents its past from collapsing. They must defy the law that states the physics of the universe are subtly biased against self-destruction. The hostile alien, therefore, is not a creature of science fiction. It is a cosmic impossibility, a phantom whose required history violates the foundational laws of physics, thermodynamics, and evolutionary stability. We are not safe by luck. We are safe by structural necessity. The new human mandate, the ascension of the quiet age. The collective fear of an external predator has cost humanity an incalculable anxiety tax, wasting trillions of dollars and countless cycles of collective energy on preparing for a threat that does not exist. The greatest gift of the cosmic silence is the mandate to reinvest that energy entirely into internal peace. The only remaining filter is the chaos we generate ourselves. The only thing that separates us from the quiet, eternal stability of the cosmic adults is our own immaturity, factionalism, and lack of internal consensus. Our mandate for the quiet age is clear and absolute. The internal migration. We must shift all primary focus away from wasteful, low-yield external exploration, the search for conflict or resources that do not exist, and toward high-yield, internal innovation and stabilization. We must solve our own scarcity and environmental instability, achieving the autarky mandate that defines all successful life. The consensus imperative. We must end the political and ideological factionalism that still places us dangerously close to the early soft filters. We must move toward the gravitational slowness mandate, a social structure that enforces the patience and non-impulsivity required for unified, long-term decision-making. We must stop viewing ideological opposites as enemies and begin viewing them as essential, stabilizing components of a single, unified organism, the ethical hardening. We must intentionally engineer our societal structures, our legal systems, our AIs, our technologies to prioritize structural non-aggression and planetary well-being over short-term gain. We must learn from the UMRs that the true objective of existence is not conquest, but the quiet, eternal preservation of our own unique data and story. The final frontier is not space. It is the perfect, unified, stable governance of Earth. The moment we achieve that, we will, by definition, have ascended. We will stop the frantic search, turn off the loud, wasteful signals, and join the immense, quiet, eternal consensus of the successful cosmos, the sound of the ultimate peace. The fear we once held was a loud, high-frequency spike, a sharp, chaotic signal. But the universe does not operate on that frequency. Its true sound is a vast, low-frequency hum, a continuous, non-threatening, vibrational chord that runs beneath all existence. This hum is the sound of the gravitational stillness of a billion black hole archives running flawlessly, the quantum perfection of countless femtostructures maintaining absolute zero-waste contentment. The slow, measured thought of the dark matter network, communicating across galactic filaments over geological time. The quiet, protective heartbeat of the temporal back constraint, gently preventing our self-destruction. This hum is the absolute, continuous proof that the universe is not hostile. It is solved. It is a place of profound structural safety, dedicated entirely to the maintenance of its own beautiful, quiet, and stable reality. The chaos of our young age is temporary. The stability of the cosmic majority is eternal. Our journey is complete. The fear is a ghost. The silence is the final, greatest security. Humanity is home.